when I first started creating these videos, I tried to write myself a script and it ended up being ridiculously long. So I'm trying another approach, and that's just winging it. So we'll see how this goes. So this is a hex wrench set from my new toolbox. And when I've had opportunities to use a hex wrench, it usually starts out with me taking a guess and saying, this one might fit. And so I pull it out and I try it in the screw, and either it fits or it doesn't. And I might have to try another one, a bigger one or a smaller one. So there's one life hack lesson for you right there. If you're trying something and it doesn't work, you might need to try something else. The other life lesson that I want to tie in with this is a tool that I learned from Jody Moore. She learned it at the Life Coach School, and Brooke Castillo. So if you want to check out any of those, I highly recommend it. I want to show you what the model that they use is, the tool that they use to teach people how to take a look at their thoughts and the results that they're creating. Let me show you. Gonna do a little recording in my portable office. Found out that my knee is not a really good tripod, but I think this will work. So I can record a little bit without giving people motion sickness. So here's Jody's model. It starts with a circumstance, which is something that's happening. And next on the list is your thought about what is happening. And those two are really hard to separate out because we think that our thoughts are the circumstances, or the way we're thinking about something, we assume it is fact, when in fact it might just be the way we're interpreting what is happening. Our thoughts are actually what create our feelings about what's happening. Our circumstances do not create our feelings. Our thoughts create our feelings. From those feelings, we take action of one sort or another, which is a direct result of our thought and our feeling, not our circumstance. And then the last part of it is the result that we get, which also is directly related to how we're thinking and not our circumstances. So best way to show you how this works is to give you a link that Jody shared in a book that she wrote called Better Than Happy. She shared this link, and it shows her 10 different examples of coaching people on how to use this model, how to slow down your thinking process, because it happens in a split second. She helps you slow it way down and take a look at what's actually happening and how to intentionally choose the thoughts that are going to create the feelings, actions, and results that are the most helpful to you. One more thing I need to say before you start on this adventure is, as you're noticing these things, notice with compassion, because it's easy to start noticing what you're thinking and go into shame and judgment of yourself. So as you're doing this, do it gently and softly. And instead of going to judgment and shame, just go to noticing and loving yourself in that space. Oh, I see what I'm doing there. Let there be space for kindness as you make these observations. That's also a very amazingly helpful tool. Two more things I want to say about this model that I've realized. One is, I read the book Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. He was, if you're not familiar with him, he was a prisoner in the concentration camps in World War II. And he's a brilliant psychologist, and he talked about people being able to find meaning in the difficult circumstances in their lives, helped them find a way through those challenges. And as I was thinking about Jody Moore's model, the Life Coach School's model, I realized what Viktor Frankl was doing was finding leverage in that thought component of the model, finding a way to choose thoughts in difficult circumstances that were going to serve you better. And the other thought I had this morning about this model is about toxic positivity. We have conversations about that at my house sometimes with my teenager, and the reason why some thoughts, even though they're supposed to help you, are not helpful. I'm not saying that very well. I think you get the idea. Sometimes we try to think a thought, or someone tells us to think a thought that feels bad even though they're trying to help us. And that term has been coined as toxic positivity. So the reason why it is not helpful is because it's a thought that we don't believe. So if that thought is not helping you, you're not going to want to choose that thought. And that's why it feels terrible. So instead of going from one extreme to the other, from complete helplessness and hopelessness to I'm not saying this very well. Let me try again. If you're trying to go from a space of feeling discouraged, maybe a little helplessness, hopelessness, and someone's telling you to go from there all the way to the other end of the spectrum to complete optimism, that is a really huge leap and is not easily done. So something you can do instead is choose Viktor Frankl's approach and try to find some meaning in what you're experiencing, or choose a thought that's slightly better. Instead of going from one space to the other in one leap, take it in steps. Find a thought that's believable, that helps move you in the right direction, instead of going from one extreme to the complete other, which comes across as hopeless in and of itself.